Blessings, family. Sister Ajali, how you doing? I'm just going to have a little bit of fun here because certain things are just, they're so predictable. Now, you don't may not know who is on the screen. This is Sam Brinton, who is still the chief of the Department of Energy's Spent Fuel and Nuclear Waste Division. I did shares about him because he's quite the controversial freakazoid. This is a picture with his furry friends, and he's reportedly made a comment himself, and I think it's true, that when he's doing his, I don't want to know what kind of business he does with whomever he does it with, but he likes to dress up as a little puppy. Obviously, to anyone who has a remnant of sanity, this dude has got a lot of problems. And when you are so vague with the parameters of even your own flesh, you're going to be vague with all matters of life and morality because you just have none. So Sam, who describes himself as non-binary, no such thing. Though binary is a term that is ruled by societal norms. Sex, no, there's just two sexes, male, female. That's it. All right. That's why we have to separate from this societal norm that is run by devils who placed this dude, Joe Biden, placed this dude in such a strategic position that impacts the safety of all of us. And he was just arrested because he is so physically and mentally and spiritually nebulous. He was arrested at the Minneapolis airport for stealing a Vera Bradley suitcase that on camera he was caught removing the name tag off of it. Now, I understand the bag is worth over $2,300. Now, everyone has their own right to their own tastes, and thereby I don't want to diminish that because I have very unique likes and dislikes individual to me. But speaking from that and owning my own sense of taste, these suckers are so ugly. Oh my God. These are Vera Bradley suitcases. And I say that not just because to my eyes they're really garish, but for a man to risk his vaulted career that obviously he seems to have been meant for nuclear, at least lying about it. This is just anathema. It makes no daggone sense whatsoever. Giant pansies and butterflies. I bet you he went for the one with the butterflies. And usually these designer bags will have the name emblazoned on it so boldly that everybody can know what brand you have. I don't necessarily see anything up close that would identify, oh, this is a Vera Bradley. I never even heard of Vera Bradley. And for it to be a bag worth $2,300, that's crazy. So, yeah, a man who's in his right mind would not want a suitcase that screams, look at me, and someone as confused about their role in life. So that what happens when you got all this alphabet madness going on is you have men who are highly compromised because they are afraid to step into the role of their sex, and they prefer to just give in to hedonistic titillations because it's too much of a for them, it appears as a burden, a responsibility, and not as an honorary position, especially under the era of feminism, which has turned women into a lot of frightful characters that can freak a little boy out from a youthful age, and just simply the society itself can freak you out. And there's also the factor that these ways and methods are deep, deep embedded in the history of the Caucasian. Going all the way back, as far back as they go, and they only go back about 6,000 years. Now, that said, I had assessed, since this person is so easily beguiled, and wouldn't he have been so much better off if he hadn't been about the look of things? I mean, he's hopefully, I really hope, even though they'll find someone else to replace him, but I don't know how many like really out to lunch nuclear, I don't know if he's a physicist or an engineer, because there's a vast difference between the two. But someone who would have the acumen to understand the dynamics of nuclear fission would have to be, they would have to pick somebody else who's willing to lie. And I don't think that there's anybody who would lie more than someone like a Sam Brinton, because they need that. Right now, they are contaminating the entire United States food stream with produce grown in Fukushima, which has been tested and found to be just as radiologically contaminated as it was right after Fukushima blew up, right? Even under Trump, the head of the, I don't know if it was the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and dude quit. He quit because he said the Trump administration wanted him to lie. So obviously, for them, it's characters like these to the rescue, right? I don't even know, because I don't know what the other one, his name is really on the left side supposed to be, and I do not recognize them other than as people who need to be in some sort of facility that would actually help them to snap out of it, even though I think when you are this confused, there's no snapping out of it, because it is a demonic possession that feels like the real them, even though they always tend to get more increasingly depraved, because the crux of what they're trying to search for is not to be found in an orgasm. And this right here with the red on the Capitol steps, I guess that's the Capitol. It's in Washington, D.C. This is part of the satanic ritual actions where they're, wearing red. When Kobe Bryant was assassinated, every other photo of him, it would have his daughter, who was also sacrificed. But there would always be this weird one person in the background wearing a brightly red jacket. And I said, this is what they do. They send out their little signals all over the place, and then we all know what happened shortly after that. And so this is just to say, these guys are so desperate to accomplish their genocide. They feel as if they could just buy the whole planet by killing off most of the folks here. It isn't working the way that they wanted it to work, and I know that that's why they got China on board in the midst of this. And if the China wins with the soulless elites, then trust and believe China will win. But this whole the red and all the rest of that, that's what they do. I mean, oh my goodness, what a hag, right? Jane Fonda, she was doing the same thing every single day, who showed up wearing this red coat so repetitively that she made a public statement saying, well, I always wear my red coat. And no, when you look at other pictures of her, that wasn't true. This was also in front of the Capitol steps. It is one of their messages they send out, that the next step, the next part of our plan to take over the world is now been put into place. And they were doing these protests over Me Too. They're always putting these distractive things, these movements that they create, like the way that they had the Supreme Court with, Topeka, Kansas versus Linda Brown. They have these things that they just put out there so that they could keep all of us from paying attention to the larger picture, which is that they've lost. They've lost, and they don't want anybody to know that. All right? So Sam, was seen using the luggage on 2 separate occasions after he took it from the airport. And then on October, I do believe the 9th, the police called him and he was just lying. He's like, no, this is my bag. And then the whole thing just eventually fell apart when they showed him the camera footage that proved that he had taken the tag off of the luggage itself. And then he finally fessed up and said, oh, I'm sorry, I did this, so on and so forth. He can face a total of 5 years in jail, which we know he ain't never going to serve, or a $10,000 fine. The very least that I hope, if the devil wants to keep on pretending that he's not the devil, is that his career is ruined for all time. But I highly, highly doubt that. I do, because he is what they need. They need those who are going to lie with absolute convincing ease, because they're all over the place. I'm not just talking about the white folks out there. We got black channels that, oh my goodness, they will tell you even that they lie, and they'll keep their channels up there, and people will just keep going to them because they're more dedicated to popularity, a want of being in the place that is made to seem as if it has all the world backing it up. Then they are dedicated to the truth. Someone like this, that's all he's about, is the surface of everything, including genocide, so he doesn't think, maybe I should say something about that FDA Fukushima food. All right, so I just wanted to share this with you. Hopefully this won't be too long. They took my whole, 5 channels? Yeah, I have 5 channels, including one that I didn't really promote. But they took all of them down, and I still haven't changed what I'm saying, because this is me. This is me. And I accept myself for who I am. I'm not trying to be pleasing to anybody but those like you who demand the truth. You demand morality. That's what I want in myself and in the world all around. Okay? All right. We mean no one any harm. So I wrote books because I mean to be a part of our healing, of our life, and ever more abundantly. So assist your soldiers. Go to 25000yearscycle.net and you could get all of these publications, and at greatly amazing rates. I'm so happy that my king hasn't changed the price, especially on Furnace of Affliction. It's still $20 as an ebook, which is incredible. Okay. So, yeah, there are those of us out here who know what time it is and that we are not in the mood for the Sam Brittons and those who hired him to claim anything but their loss, because that's all they got. When you're on the side of the evildoers, you are going out sooner or later. I love you. Straight black family pride, and we are forever. Peace and blessings. Oh, and I almost forgot this picture. What the heck? Magic Johnson's son, EJ, doing up in this kind of crowd. They all run together. Okay? That's this all one agenda. And we have the power to shut it down as soon as we separate. Peace and blessings.